They say that Oumuamua might have been a comet, but here's the problem. It had no tail. Imagine trying to recognize a duck, but nothing about it fits what you expect from a duck. This raises the big question, what exactly was it? On the night of October 24, 2017, NASA's astronomer David Farnokia was restless as he typed an email to a colleague at the University of California. The message was about a newly detected object in the sky with a highly unusual trajectory, something our telescopes and observatories had never witnessed before. Surprisingly, it wasn't NASA who first discovered it. The credit went to Robert Weryk, a researcher from the University of Hawaii, who was monitoring the sky using the Pan-STARRS telescope on the Hawaiian island of Maui when he stumbled upon this mysterious object. What caught Weryk's attention was its incredibly high speed, so fast that the sun couldn't trap it in orbit. Instead of following a closed elliptical path, the object's trajectory was open, which meant it would never come back. Weryk knew this was big news and promptly alerted the scientific community. The news spread quickly and soon caught NASA's attention. It was at this point that Farnokia sent an email to his colleague saying, "We need more data, but it looks like the orbit is hyperbolic." A few hours later, he received a response suggesting they observed the object using the Nordic Optical Telescope in Spain. Meanwhile, other observatories around the world were also scrambling to track the enigmatic visitor, whose speed suggested it came from beyond our solar system. The object was given the name Oumuamua, which in Hawaiian means a messenger from afar arriving first. But the more scientists learned about it, the more confused they became. Everything about Oumuamua, from its elongated shape to the lack of characteristics typical of a comet, challenged what we knew. If this was an ordinary visitor from the universe, then we clearly needed to reassess our understanding. Astronomers began investigating where Oumuamua came from and what kind of journey it might have taken. Observations suggested that it came from the direction of the star Vega. Although when Oumuamua passed through that area roughly 300,000 years ago, Vega wasn't even in the same position. Thus mysteries continued to pile up, dividing the scientific community. Some thought it might be a comet, but subsequent observations revealed that Oumuamua lacked both a tail and a coma, the halo of sublimated dust and ice typical of comets. Others proposed it was an asteroid, but the lack of any sublimating ice, given that it came from the freezing conditions of interstellar space, made this theory seem puzzling. So what exactly was Oumuamua? Imagine being in the midst of this enigma, trying to make sense of it, when suddenly even more surprising properties started to emerge. Calculations indicated that Oumuamua was about 100 meters long, quite small compared to other known asteroids, and its elongated shape resembled that of a cigar. There was even a striking similarity to a large rocket, like the Saturn V. But its extreme trajectory was far too radical for it to be anything human-made. Could it have been a spacecraft from another civilization? As incredible as it sounds, this possibility couldn't be ruled out right away. As astronomers studied Oumuamua, they were hit with yet another surprise. In June 2018, the Italian astronomer Marco Micheli from the European Space Agency and his team reported something unusual. The object appeared to be accelerating, as if a slight force, akin to a rocket, was pushing it on top of the gravitational forces from the sun and planets. Yes, you heard that right. Oumuamua seemed to be gaining speed, as if it were a spacecraft. But astonishingly, there was no cometary tail to explain this phenomenon. So what was causing this acceleration? To make things stranger, Oumuamua showed no signs of mass loss, which might have accounted for the extra push. And it got even more puzzling when we realized the object was leaving our solar system faster than it had entered. Did it not like us? In November 2018, Loeb from Harvard Center for Astrophysics suggested that Oumuamua could be a light sail, a type of craft propelled by starlight, possibly sent by an alien civilization. The variation in the object's brightness by a factor of 10 or more indicated an unusual geometry. Imagine a thin piece of paper fluttering in the wind, spinning every 8 hours. Despite these fascinating theories, most astronomers still believe Oumuamua had a natural origin. In February 2019, scientists calculated that for it to be propelled by sunlight, it would need to be 100 times less dense than air. This strangeness led the scientific community to eagerly await the discovery of another interstellar visitor. And just 2 years later, we found Borisov, another object from outside our solar system, with an orbit even more extreme than Oumuamua's. Unlike Oumuamua, Borisov exhibited the typical behavior of a comet. Observations by the Hubble Space Telescope showed that its nucleus was larger, with a radius between 0.2 and 0.5 kilometers, and its light curve was predictable, without the peculiarities of its predecessor. Everything we learned about Borisov made Oumuamua seem even stranger. Nevertheless, Loeb continues to support the idea that Oumuamua could have been a craft sent by an alien civilization. After all, it moved so quickly that it was impossible for us to pursue it, and it clearly came from beyond our solar system. When we piece it all together, maybe it makes sense that it was made by some other civilization. Could it really be true? We may never know, because Oumuamua passed by so swiftly that our telescopes barely managed to detect it. Its hyperbolic trajectory indicated that it wasn't native to our solar system. It was just passing through. Was it on a reconnaissance mission? Maybe not, but its sudden acceleration, without a cometary tail, is still an unexplained mystery. One thing is certain: Oumuamua is on its way out of the solar system, and it won't be back. And with it, it takes its secrets, at least until we encounter another object just as puzzling. So what do you think Oumuamua really was? A simple rock, or an alien spacecraft visiting our solar system? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories about the mysteries of the universe. See you next